The day I found out the cancer was in remission was the same day I found my wife in bed with someone else. It was supposed to be a triumphant return, one last follow-up in a long war I wasn't supposed to win. Stage 3, they said. Aggressive. 6 months, maybe 9. But I fought like hell. For her. For us. Or so I thought. If this betrayal stunned you, hit like, subscribe, and share. What happens next isn't loud, it's precise. Watch what survival looks like when silence becomes strategy. I came home early. I didn't call. I wanted to surprise her. My duffel still had the hospital tag on it when I walked in. The first thing I noticed wasn't the silence. It was the music. Jazz. Her seduction playlist. Then I saw the shoes by the stairs. Men's. Polished. Not mine. I followed the sound up to our bedroom. Each step slow, deliberate. I didn't even feel anger yet, just confusion, until I opened the door and saw them. Her back arched, his face buried in her neck, my sheets wrapped around betrayal. She screamed. He ran. I didn't say a word. I just stood there, watching, memorizing. That night, I slept in the guest room. She tried to talk. I said I was tired. I let her twist, squirm, offer half-lies. I let her bury herself with every excuse she crafted, because I knew something she didn't. She thought the worst was over. She thought I'd already survived. But the real fight, her fight, was just beginning. I woke up the next morning and made her breakfast. Scrambled eggs. Her favorite mug. The illusion of normalcy. She looked shaken, like a woman waiting for a sentence that never came. That was the point. I needed her to think she was safe. People become sloppy when they think the storm has passed. While she sipped coffee and played the guilt-stricken wife, I checked our safe deposit box. My name was gone. Just hers. And the deed to the lake house? Transferred. Slowly, she'd been preparing for a future without me, while I was preparing to stay alive. She hadn't even waited for the obituary. That afternoon, I called my lawyer, told him to pull the latest versions of our wills, trusts, and powers of attorney. My wife thought she understood our finances because I let her sign a few checks and sit in on one estate meeting 5 years ago. But I'd built layers, corporate shields, investment branches, clauses she never read. She didn't even know about the living will I'd drafted the night after my first chemo session. The one that gave my sister, not her, medical and financial control if anything happened to me. My lawyer's voice was flat. She's been transferring joint assets under her name since last December. Accounts, property, even your pension. I nodded, already knowing the answer. And does she know those accounts are linked to a blind trust she can't access without my signature? He chuckled. No. And when she finds out, it's going to be educational. She gambled on my death. Now she's about to learn what happens when the dead man comes home with a lawyer. The thing about trust is, it only takes one forged signature to reveal the truth. A week after my return, while she played dutiful wife, I asked to see our tax documents. Said I wanted to get my affairs in order. Her hands trembled when she handed me the manila folder. I thanked her, kissed her on the cheek. Then I scanned every page with a precision that cancer taught me. Never overlook what hides in plain sight. There it was. A transfer authorization dated 3 months prior, allegedly signed by me, moving $72,000 from our joint investment fund to her private account. I recognized the signature. It looked like mine, but I'd been in a hospital bed doped on fentanyl that week, hallucinating snowstorms in July. I made a copy, quietly, no confrontation. I sent it to Daniel, my estate attorney. The reply came in under an hour. Forged. You want to press criminal or keep it civil? I paused before replying. Criminal would get her arrested. Civil would get me everything. Civil, I wrote. But I want her cornered first. So I filed a motion, sealed, under court order, to freeze all marital assets pending investigation of fraudulent financial activity. She wouldn't know until she tried to withdraw. 3 days later, I came home to a smashed laptop, empty wine bottles, and her face red from rage. What did you do? I sipped my tea. I lived. That was your first mistake. She planned for my funeral, not my return. But now she's learning. When you fake my signature, you sign your own downfall. The day she found out the accounts were frozen, she threw a glass at the kitchen wall. It didn't shatter like in the movies. It thudded, slid down, like her confidence. I didn't flinch. I just stared at her the same way I used to stare at chemo bags, knowing it might burn, but necessary to survive. You can't do this, she hissed. I already did. The court just confirmed it. She stormed out, called her sister, a lawyer, maybe the guy she cheated with. I don't know. I didn't care. I had moved into strategy mode months ago, while tubes ran through my veins, and she whispered lies to the nurses about how much she loved me. I called my accountant. Activate the icebox plan, I said. He paused. You're sure? She's sure, I replied. The icebox plan was something I set up during my second round of treatment, when the odds were against me. A full asset lockdown and redistribution into trusts I controlled. Unbreakable, irrevocable, and untouchable by marital claims if triggered during divorce due to fraud. I had documented everything. The forged transfers, the affair, thanks to a discreet PI I hired the night after I caught them. And her bank records showing payments to a condo she secretly leased with him. The icebox froze it all. Bank accounts, stocks, retirement. Even the joint property fell under temporary court administration pending divorce proceedings. She thought she was married to a dying man. What she didn't know was, he'd already written his comeback. The locks are on. The gates are sealed. And the woman who planned my inheritance just got locked out of everything she thought she owned. The final hearing wasn't dramatic. No yelling. No tears. Just paperwork and a judge flipping through pages that summarized years of betrayal in bullet points. Forgery. Adultery. Financial deception. It all sat there in black ink, lined up like symptoms in a medical chart. She didn't look at me once. Just stared straight ahead, clinging to the last illusion of control. The judge's voice was calm as he read the ruling. All marital assets frozen under the trust remain the sole property of the petitioner. Due to evidence of financial fraud, all contested claims from the respondent are denied. Translation: she gets nothing. Not the house. Not the accounts. Not the lake cabin she tried to sneak into her name. Nothing but her last name, mine, which she never deserved. After court, she tried to speak to me. Her voice was soft, fake sad. Did you ever love me? I looked at her. Really looked at her. Not the woman I married, but the one who thought my death was a deadline. I did, but I loved myself more. And that saved me. She left with her purse, her shame, and a lifetime of regret. Me? I walked out with my life. My name. My freedom. And the quiet satisfaction of a man who outlived every lie. Thank you for witnessing this quiet, strategic revenge. If this story hit hard, like, share, and subscribe. Because someone else is sitting through betrayal right now. And they need to know that silence doesn't mean surrender. Sometimes, it's just the sound of planning.